Women in Print Alliance is dedicated to connecting, empowering, and advancing women in the printing industry. As part of Printing United Alliance, we're fostering a more inclusive future through advocacy, education, and networking opportunities that connect women across the entire industry. Join us as an individual to grow your career, expand your network, and access exclusive resources, or enroll your entire organization to show your commitment to supporting women in print. Become a member today at womeninprintalliance.org and help us shape the future of print.
Welcome to Her Imprint, part of the Impressions Exchange. I'm Denise Gustafson, your host. This podcast celebrates the remarkable women who are transforming the printing industry. We'll explore their journeys, from challenges to triumphs, and share the stories that leave a lasting imprint. Today I have with me Ashley Cooney. She's Chief Operating Officer with Hudson Printing. So Ashley, welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you. I was so blessed to be able to go and visit your shop when we were out in San Diego for the Printing United Leadership Summit. Thank you again for giving us the grand tour. It was really lovely to see the team and obviously meet you in person.
Yeah, of course. It was really nice to have you guys there.
It's always great to see how shops operate because for me, as a journalist, we report on it all the time and people are getting new presses, new things. And it's always interesting to see how the shops are set up, how everybody does all the things that they do with the technology, because everybody's different. And it's always interesting to see just how different everybody can be.
Yeah, we do try to have our hand in a little bit of everything at Hudson. There's so many moving parts. Actually, I was interviewing someone yesterday, and when we were done with the walkthrough, she's like, how do you keep everything straight? And it's like, you just got to rely on your managers. You got to make sure the managers are relying on their team, and then I rely on my managers, and we get the job done. But it is a lot of moving parts.
It definitely is. So for the audience, can you tell us a little bit about Hudson Printing to give everybody a little bit more insight into what you guys do?
Yeah. Hudson Printing started in 2004. We started out doing offset, digital, and large format printing. We continued to grow with the technologies. Our large format department was the first, I think, to grow. We got flatbed printers when those became more popular. We invested in better digital equipment. We have 2 Indigo presses, among other digital machines. And then we also expanded our bindery department. We started doing fulfillment. So we have the fulfillment department now. We have an embroidery department now and a sewing department. And we just started recently doing ad specialty stuff since we invested in the laser machine and the laser cutter and the embroidery. It's easy for us now to do those things. So we are located now in our building in Carlsbad. And yeah, my parents started the company, but my dad is now the sole owner of it. It's poised to go to my sister, brother, and I when he retires officially. But yeah, that's how Hudson started.
So I can understand why your potential new hire asked you, how do you keep everything straight?
Yeah.
All the different things that you guys do, all the equipment that you have. I saw it firsthand when I was there, just all the different things that you guys are doing. And I can understand how difficult it is sometimes to keep everything straight.
Yeah, that and giving inventory is quite a challenge as well. But then that's when it comes back to leaning on my team. I do the purchasing. I have to make sure I'm getting the best prices and things. But the actual keeping of the inventory would be impossible for me to do as well. So it all falls on the team.
It does. So now it's your parents' company.
It's my dad's. My parents are divorced, so it is my dad's company now.
But when you started, when it was started by both of your parents.
Yes, correct.
And then you eventually came into it. Is this what you wanted to do?
I kicked it around when I was in high school. I was like, I wanted to be a fashion merchandiser and I wanted to be like all these other things that I probably could have done, but I felt like I wanted to be in the family business. I felt like my dad and mom had set up a really good future for us in the industry if we wanted to continue it. And I felt like I was the one to do it. My sister, she's the lead of accounting. My brother's not really involved, but I felt like if it was going to succeed, I needed to be there. And I do printing. I think it's really cool, the things that we come up with, the different technologies that are available to us that we can just think outside of the box and create some really cool techniques and things. That excites me. I feel like a hand in for visual merchandising because we're doing window displays and things like acrylic boxes that hold different cool easel backs. I think it went hand in hand in the end.
It does. The creativity, especially when you're looking at some of the stuff in the wide format side of the business and you're doing some fabrication as well. So you
Yeah.
can be really creative. And yeah, you're doing that for visual merchandising that you may
Yeah.
have wanted to do anyway.
Exactly.
Maybe you got
Exactly.
exactly what you wanted even without going through that fashion route.
Yeah. Yeah. And then when I went to college, I got my degree in communication, which I learned a lot about leadership at that time, like collaborating with a group. And I always volunteered as a leader. I feel like I'm kind of a natural leader, I think. So when it came to actually stepping into the COO role, I thought that was like a perfect situation because in college, I did learn about how to approach people in certain ways, different cultures, and how different cultures accept people and their mannerisms and things. So I understand that a little bit better because we do have a diverse group of people that work at Hudson that I feel like the cultural aspect of things is important to understand.
I think it is because everybody comes to work, they come to whatever they're doing with their backgrounds behind them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
they view the world always through that lens.
mm,
So if you
totally.
can learn something to build a bridge, I think you get better relationships, you get stronger relationships because you're willing to learn something about somebody else that's not necessarily yours.
Absolutely. And a part of the way that I cultivate like a team atmosphere is I do like to plan things outside of work so that we do learn about each other more so on a human level and not a professional work level. And so that I think is it goes with that. It's nice to know what people are going through outside of work. And I don't like to pry. I'm not one of those people who ask a lot of personal questions, but I feel like when we're in a situation where we're had a couple drinks or at a baseball game or something, and it's like and more natural to learn about people.
Mhm.
I think that's a good way to keep the team together and to understand each other better.
'Cause the understanding then comes empathy, because then
Mhm.
you can understand if they're going through something or if there's issues. You have that relationship, you have that empathy because you understand, oh, they might be caring for an aging parent, or they have a child with special needs, or there's other things going on that you can understand that, "Oh, this is why they're reacting this way. This is why they're having this issue. Let's give them the grace. Let's give them the benefit and help them."
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And not just for me to understand that they're the employees, but for them to just understand each other. I
Mhm.
feel like that is key because printing is stressful. Everyone has a really tight turn line and you can't put something back on the shelf if you did it wrong. Everybody just has to like be a little bit more understanding. Everyone's human. And if we work together, it's a better outcome for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Looking back at what you've done at Hudson, is there any particular milestones or achievements that you're really proud of and help spur you to continue doing what you're doing? Because you like you said, it's stressful.
Mhm.
It's not easy. I wouldn't say it's extremely hard either, but it's definitely that has its challenges to say the
Mhm.
least.
Yeah, I think my biggest triumph, I would say, was stepping into the role of general manager when I was offered the position. It came at a time when our previous general manager had done some underhanded things and like, took one of our biggest customers. And we were at a point where my dad came to me and he was like, I think you would do a great job at this role. But at the time, I was just a production manager. And I was friends with everybody. I didn't have a lot of responsibility. And I was like, do I want to do this?
Do be the man,
Yeah,
the boss at
exactly.
that point. Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, I went from being everyone's friend, everyone's boss. And I was like, do I want to do this? And took a look at the situation and I was like, okay, I could step into this role, take on the responsibility, or I could be under somebody else we're gonna bring in, and then I don't know how Hudson would grow from there. So I wanted to take control of the situation. So I'd say my biggest triumph was accepting the job and then proving that I deserved it. I was joking. I was like, some would say it's nepotism. At the same time, like I did earn it. Because I did start from the bottom. I worked in bindery, worked as a production manager. I worked in large format when I had downtime to make sure that I understood the technology. I was able to step in and help and I schedule everyone and I do the purchasing. But if anyone needs anything, I'll jump in and help. I'll run the cutter if you need me to. I'll foil some books. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. And I think that helped me to earn the respect of the employees because I wasn't just sitting in my office, bossing people around.
I think that does go a long way to show the employees, look, I'm in this with you.
Exactly, exactly. And I had one of the employees was like, "Oh, it's so nice to have you out here helping." And I'm like, "I lead by example. I try. I really do. I feel like at times it's harder because I am juggling a lot. But if I expect someone to do something a certain way, I'll go out and do it that way too. Because I feel like we are a team. I don't feel like anyone's boss necessarily. I feel like we're all just on a team.
But you get to make some of the harder decisions, though.
Yes, I do just make the hard decisions. My dad still is around to help me with the hard decisions, but he right now is like in the desert at his vacation home, which is awesome for him. I'm so happy for him that he gets to do that. But when he's gone, I do have to make the hard decisions. If a machine breaks or something, that's when the stress comes. But yeah, like the hiring decisions and fortunately the firing decisions are left up to me. So yeah, I try. I do my best.
I think that's all we can do, honestly.
Mhm.
But what you're looking to do is you're looking to build and continue to build a successful business.
Yeah,
But then
absolutely.
the definition of success changes based on where we are, what's going on. So I guess for you, my question is like, how does that definition of success change for you? Has it changed?
Yeah, it's definitely changed. At first, it was just holding myself accountable. Am I getting my jobs done? That was when I first started. Are my jobs getting done? Now, success is, are all the jobs getting done well? Are we staying in budget? My big thing is making sure that I'm always getting the best prices on materials and things. So that's a big part for me right now. And then also making sure that my employees are working at the best of their ability. That is harder for me to do because our building is pretty large and I can't be everywhere at once. So that's what my goal is right now is to make sure that everyone is doing the best that they can, that Hudson's as profitable as we can be. And then I think in the future, what success will look like is understanding the newest technologies that are coming out. Something my dad has done a really good job at is keeping up with the new printers and the new cutters and what's out there that we can invest in. And so for me, I feel like success in the future would be for me to understand that and for me to be able to make those decisions like he would make them so that Hudson can continue to grow as we have.
And also in terms of technology too, it continues to change.
Yeah.
On almost it seems like a monthly basis,
Mm.
new we haven't seen a lot of revolutionary change over the last few years, but it's evolutionary. We see
Mhm. Yeah.
those steps. Things are getting quicker. There's other things happening. We have the integration of AI now with a lot of the different pieces
Yeah.
of equipment. How does all of that help the industry and also help women in the industry? Because as it's very much male dominated still, but how are those changes helping women to get a more equal footing in some cases?
Yeah. So I feel like AI is going to change everything. We're just hit the tip of the iceberg with AI. And I feel like for me, I look at it as it can completely revolutionize how the structure of the workflow. So the scheduling and the estimating and all of that stuff, I feel will be eventually just all AI generated. So from the standpoint of women are have such a good attention to detail and they're so detail oriented that I feel like when you're inputting things into AI, you still need those details
Oh God,
to make
yes.
sure that you don't, because AI is, it's a robot. It's not, it doesn't have the, if I forget to tell it something, it's not going to know. So women, I feel will have an upper hand when it comes to the basically like controlling the AI itself. The project management aspect of it, I feel like there will be a lot of improvements with AI, but women, in my opinion, from doing hiring are the best project managers because of the attention to detail. And also, since I started at Hudson, when I first started there, I was one of 3 women who worked at Hudson. And at that time, we had 20 something employees. But since I've come in and I've realized that women can do whatever men can do, picking up rolls and material or whatever. That's maybe one thing that a man would need to help a woman with, but there's no reason that a woman can run a
Although
printer or
technically
cutter.
there's now robots and there's other
It's
pieces
true.
of
There you
equipment
go.
that could
AI.
help with that.
Yeah. No, yeah, we have a girl in our large format department, and she's a superstar. She literally will run the cutter. She'll do anything you ask her to, and she's so organized. She's awesome. But yeah, in our bindery department as well, there was a time where our bindery manager had left for a bit, and I offered the management role to one of his female employees at the time, and he didn't end up leaving. So she is now the assistant manager back there. But women play a huge role at Hudson. And I can only speak to Hudson because I've really never even toured another printing company. Women can do just as much as men can. And I personally think they can do better.
I would happen to agree. We can't be too biased.
I've never.
But yeah, like you said, there's signs of progress. Whereas you only had 3, now you have more, and they're in positions that are not just administrative. It's not like they're just secretaries. They're making
Exactly.
decisions. They are working on a production floor, a manufacturing floor, which is something even 10 or 15 years ago may not have been happening.
Yeah. Oh, totally. My number 2, her name's Michelle. She runs around the production floor. She's basically my right arm. When I'm not around, she can help. She just helps with everything. And we see eye to eye. And I feel like, yeah, like she is awesome. And I don't, yeah, I'm sure a man could do the job also, but to have that she's a woman and she's doing a great job. Actually, like I said, every production manager that I've had that I've been like, wow, this person's a superstar has been a woman, but because of the attention to detail and the organization.
So now, like looking within Hudson industry wide, how can leaders help to make sure or build strategies to make sure that their workplaces are inclusive, that they are giving women the ability to reach out for some of those roles that were traditionally male?
Yeah, I feel like if you understand the industry, you'll be able to succeed in it. For leaders to like create a diverse work environment, I feel like it's probably up to us to trust that the people who are coming in can do what they say they're going to do. And I feel like that's comes down to the hiring process and maybe just accepting more. Because when I'm looking at a resume, there's like certain things that I'm looking for in a person. It doesn't really matter, male, female, it doesn't matter. But I think become more open minded and realize that some people's resumes are written for the specific job that they're applying for. It's just a resume. That's why I feel like cover letters really help for people who are looking for jobs. The cover letter specific to that position. In the past, when I've interviewed people and hired them, really, 9 times out of 10, they've had a cover letter that's been like, here's why I want this job. This is what I understand. And it's really worked out well for them. So that's what I would suggest for people looking for jobs. And as for leaders, I would suggest having an open mind when it comes to interviewing people, like choosing the people who you're going to interview.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like if somebody's resume might not say, oh, this is not a match for the job, but if that person can help you make the connections. I might not have worked in printing, but I've done this,
Exactly.
that, or the other thing, and this is how I think it would
Mhm.
apply toward the role that you are hiring for,
100%.
and as a CSR or a project manager or whatever that position might be.
Yeah. 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 Because obviously the understanding of printing is paramount when you have a product manager. So if you were, let's say, a purchaser of a marketing person and you're purchasing printing, you would still have a great knowledge of printing. There's no reason why you couldn't be like a product manager. But yeah, if you don't have that spelled out on your resume, then that person may get overlooked.
Yeah. Or in some cases, maybe they don't have a history in print, so they're not
Mhm.
involved at all. Print technologies, the processes, those can be taught.
Yeah.
Trying to teach somebody how to project manage, how to be organized, even some of the soft skills, how to have relationships with people,
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
harder, I think, to teach. And if you have those kind of in place, you can learn the technology part of it.
Yeah, I agree. With Hudson in particular, it's because we do have different departments that do different things. People who have come in that haven't really known the ins and outs of printing. It's confusing for them at first because like we have a sleeking machine. So a sleeking machine lays down foil, but that's technically in our large format department. But you would think that would be like in the digital department. So it's like, no, like that goes lamination and trying to explain like the UV coating is part of bindery. But if you want gloss lamination, it's completely separate. And trying to explain it to people, it can be really confusing because there's so many different options to basically get the same outcome. But yeah, there's a learning curve, but there is no doubt in my mind that someone can learn it fairly quickly. As long as they have somebody teaching them, then it's very knowledgeable as well.
And as long as the person's willing to learn too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. There's some people we've had who've come in thinking they knew everything, but they haven't had an open mind and it hasn't worked out because It's okay. Well, that's maybe your old job, but we're completely different. Like the printing is the same, but the structure and the machines we have are different.
Yeah, I hate when you hear, "Oh, this is how we used to do it."
Yeah. Yeah. Or people who are like, oh, I don't need you to train me. I already know. And I'm like,
Maybe not.
yeah.
So now taking a turn to talk a little bit about leadership and especially your leadership within the company. How would you say that some of your challenges that you may have encountered have really helped to build your confidence, strengthened you as a leader? Because I'm guessing it wasn't probably all roses and kittens and puppies along the way. I'm guessing there could have probably been a few road bumps.
Yeah. Yeah. When I took the job, like I said, people didn't think I deserved it. They thought I
Mhm.
just was handed it. So I had to prove with my knowledge that I did deserve to be there and do it. When I took over for our previous general manager, I personally don't think he was running the company in the right way. So I've had to do a little maneuvering and have some departments do little things a little bit differently and start different ways of organizing, I guess you could say. Different, I create a lot of Google Docs and I have people keep track of what they're doing at certain times, keep just to hold everyone accountable. And I feel like that's something that I feel like I'm doing better. So a bump I've got over on the road is trying to hold people more accountable. And from there, they respected me more for it. So they don't think I'm just going to let them do whatever they want and they can get away with it, which sounds negative, but it's not. I feel like people respect me more because I am in on the daily scheduling. I still do some production work. Like I still have Hudson's bigger customers. I still do the production management on. So from that standpoint, I'm out there every day with everybody doing some of the jobs that need to get out. And so for me, I feel like I've jumped the hurdle of being just the manager or just a worker. And I feel like I've meshed the two. And that I feel like is a success for me.
Now, I have another question that kind of layers on top of the fact you are a woman as well, and you're a younger woman. Have you had any issues or anything with regards to like ageism? Because I know I've spoken with some women and it's been even harder for some of them because they're looked at a different way.
I personally have not, but I have come across it. I've seen it happen to other people. Our managers have all at Hudson have all been around for 15 plus years. So when we have other production managers come in, so by managers, I mean our digital manager, our bindery manager, and our large format manager. But our production managers are all relatively new. But I have seen it in the workplace where maybe the one of the managers don't necessarily respect a younger employee like they should. And I try to help the female employee as much as I can. I try to like coach them. Oh, just if you're doing this, you should just act this way or try to be respectful, but be more stern because I can
Mhm.
see how they're going to try to walk all over you because you're younger and you don't necessarily have the knowledge that they have.
You have 30 years of knowledge behind them. You have 3 months or whatever.
Exactly. So from that standpoint, I just try to coach them. And then there's that preconceived notion that younger millennials and Gen Z are like, oh, they're like more lazy or whatever. And honestly, I feel like as long as someone comes into a job willing to work, willing to learn, and wanting to succeed in that position, then those notions will go away within a few months. Unfortunately, it's there. We know it's there. And so people just need to prove themselves before they can earn that respect.
Yeah, and we might, as some of the older ones in the industry and the older generations, we might need to figure out a better way to approach them too.
Mhm.
They need specific goals. Do they need more short-term goals? What motivates them to change their behavior if we are seeing certain things that are unfortunately indicative of some of those younger generations?
Yeah. I had one girl I hired and she was younger. She's probably in her early 20s. And when I was interviewing her, she asked me like, "Oh, are you guys strict on like your days off and things?" And I was like, "Really fluid." I was like, "We give our standard days off, but just as long as the work is done." And she took that as she just needed to show if she had work. It was very odd. So the first 3 weeks of her being there, she missed 2 days each week. And I finally had to be like, "Hey, sorry, this isn't working out. You need
Yeah.
to show up for your job." And I think that's partly on me because I was under the assumption that she understood a professional job means you show up every day and you're there to help. But she apparently hadn't known that that was
The
how
thing.
you worked in a thing. Yeah. I think, yeah. So I learned something that day. I learned that I have to be more straightforward with what I want and not just be, because I guess I was vague. I don't know. I would have never taken it that way, but also I'm not 25 years old. So
Yeah, I'm Gen X. So for me, I get a job, you're there for your 40 hours, you work your job.
yeah, totally.
Some days are crazier, you're crushed. Other days are a little lighter, but you're still there working, helping out with the team, doing other things. But it's different now, I
Mhm.
think. And I've heard that from a couple folks that some of the younger generations, yes, I don't know if they do work, but they seem to want to do other things.
Yeah. No, I totally. They are more interested in to cultivate a nice social life than they are to actually make money. And for me, I'm like, I'm pretty money driven, which makes it easier for me to go to work every day and enjoy what I'm doing because in the end, I get a paycheck. I'm going to be a business owner one day, and that's amazing. I thank my father. It was the best gift besides for life he ever gave me. So from that standpoint, I don't understand the younger generations. It is what it is. We have to work with what we have and try to help them succeed.
And if it's adjusting our communication, is it adjusting how we work with them, deal with them? Like you said, you had to be very explicit and
Mhm,
very
mhm.
specific with
Yeah.
what you wanted or needed.
Mhm. Totally. Totally.
But yeah,
Yeah.
lesson learned, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's been some interesting things that have arisen with new hires that I was like, wow, I guess you don't know somebody until they show up.
Yeah. And you honestly don't know what you don't know because you were also raised a certain way. You had parents working in a business, trying to
Totally.
cultivate and grow a business. So you had a certain work ethic built in just by your
Absolutely.
observations.
Absolutely.
Whoever's coming in, you don't know what they've experienced. You don't know
Mhm.
where they've been, what they're expecting. Their peers are getting jobs where they only have to, oh, I only have to go into work once or twice a week, or if it's something different. I don't know. Like I said,
Mhm.
I don't even know what I don't know.
Yeah. And the advent of working from home, I've never had that luxury. But when people are used to working from home, they probably get a different mindset of what is work.
Yeah. Like I always say, it's really hard to strap an indigo onto your truck bed and take it home because you just want to work from home one day. Not
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, even for me, I need to be at Hudson. I need to make sure that I'm there. If somebody has a question that needs to be answered right away, or when our delivery drivers get back, I need to make sure that I am there to get them back on the road for my role. I need to be there.
That's part of the job. That's part of what you understood it to be, too.
It is. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. I have gotten better as I've gotten older, but I used to spend I used to spend like 10 hours a day at Hudson. I was making sure everything was possibly done. And then I realized, wow, I need to rely on my team a little bit more. I need to stop me being the bottleneck. I need to make sure that I'm giving the managers, the department, and the people who make the decisions with their teams the ability and the freedom to make those decisions so that I can have a life outside of work.
And you're showing your trust of the team, too.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
As well, because that whole work-life balance thing, don't know if it's quite balanced, dedicating some time so that way you can actually enjoy the life you're building because you are working, because you are building a business.
Totally, yeah. And that's something I feel like maybe during COVID, people started to realize, wow, maybe I should spend a little bit more time on my social life because that's basically when it turned for me. Because before then, I was like 10 hours a day at work. That was normal. And then when we had to shut down for a few weeks, and then I realized, wow, I can still get this job. I can still get this stuff done if I just rely on people a little bit more. And when we open back up, obviously we're much more busy and the structure's changed, but that part stuck with me. Like I need to make sure that I put the responsibility on the employees that are getting paid to have those responsibilities.
I think it's better for your mental health, for everybody's mental health, honestly.
Yeah,
'Cause then
definitely.
they're taking ownership of their role, their responsibilities, and they have a little bit more ownership in it too.
Totally. Yeah, people don't like being micromanaged.
God, no.
I've learned that kind of the hard way because at first I was micromanaging, but it's just another aspect of the leadership role and learning. Yeah, you can't micromanage because it just causes too many cooks in the kitchen.
But in many cases, as much as people probably tell you, no, you don't micromanage, sometimes you can't learn that until you actually learn that yourself.
Yeah, totally. That's like in every aspect of life.
Yeah, indeed.
Sometimes you can't learn it until you do it yourself.
Yeah, and really understand it.
Yeah.
So, I guess in conclusion, my favorite question that I always love to ask is knowing what you know now. So, your history within Hudson Printing, all the things that you've been through. If you were just starting in the industry today, so you're just coming in, nothing, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say learn as much as you can. Learn as much of every aspect of printing as you can because it will help you to grow, but also help you to get the best possible outcome from the position you're in, from the projects you're working on. The problem solving is key. Problem solving, especially in printing, if you need to think of something outside the box, that's what makes you valuable. Become invaluable in your position and you'll be indispensable. That would be my suggestion.
I think that's some pretty good advice.
Thank you.
Ashley, thank you so much for taking some time today. It was a pleasure to actually get to chat with you again.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much. It's very fun.
Thank you for joining us on this journey to celebrate and amplify the voices of women in the printing industry. If you have a story to share or know someone whose journey deserves to be highlighted, we'd love to hear from you. Together, let's continue inspiring and empowering the next generation of leaders. Until next time, keep leaving your imprint. This is Her Imprint. See you soon.